Welcome to episode number 1 of Creature Features. Today we're going to look at the flowerhorn cichlid. Behind me you see my 2-year-old Magma flowerhorn, Bobby the Brain Heenan Jr. So we're just going to go over a few things that you may or may not know about these specific kinds of fish. So let's start with where they originated from. They originated from Singapore, the Malaysia area, Taiwan, that area across the pond, way away from us, or at least us here. Anyways, where they were created to be an ornament fish. Apparently over there they like fish with big heads. And what better way to do it than make your own if you can't find one. Some of the nicknames for these little guys include Warship, which if you've seen video of Bobby, that's fitting. Extremely. I could show you my finger. They have been released into the wild there some way, somehow, someone probably couldn't keep it and threw it in the river. Whatever the case, they are now an invasive species over there in Malaysia and Singapore. So the best thing to do, obviously, is not throw these guys into local ponds, because they will procreate. Well, since we're on the subject of procreation, why not go on the subject of sexing? The easiest way I found to tell what sex these fish are is when they're between 4 and 5 inches, or 6. They're just a little easier to handle that way. Because you're gonna have to pull them out of the water a little bit, turn them over. That's one way of doing it. And you look at their anus. If it has a U shape, that's going to be a female. If it has a V shape, that's definitely going to be a male. Some other ways of doing it too, if you don't like that idea, wait until they get bigger. The males will get tremendously larger than the females. And they will also obviously have the coke that pokes out of their head. I know some people call it something else. Yes, admittedly, coke is not as funny as cock, but you know, that's probably the translation barrier from Singapore to America. Anyways, males will get larger than the females, and they will get a larger coke, and they will also be extremely aggressive, as to where the females usually aren't as aggressive. So there's a few ways of checking that. Okay, so let's move on to tank needs. There's a few ideal conditions that these guys need to survive. 1, temperature. They like it hot. They like it anywhere from 80 almost to 90 degrees. I don't recommend running it that high. Bobby does just fine at about 82 to 84. But I have read where people keep them warmer than that. Number 2, your pH obviously is with any other fish. You want to kind of keep an eye on. But these guys are pretty versatile. They go anywhere from 6.5 to 7.8 pH. So they're pretty stout. Usually, like in my situation, our water comes out of the tap at 7.6. So you should be just fine pH wise with these guys. Not necessarily a pH chaser. Your tank size though is important. You want to be anywhere between a 40 to 75 gallon if that's the only fish that you're going to have in that tank, which I will touch on that later. They don't need extremely high flowing water. But it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of higher flow in there, as they are very muscular. They would like a little exercise. I mean, I would too, but I'm old. Alright, another little factoid of these guys. Lifespan. Now, I've heard everything from because they're a hybrid fish, they only live 3 or 4 years. I don't believe that. They actually can live between 10 to 12 years. But like any other fish, proper temp, clean water, proper filtration, they will give you years of happiness. obviously. Now his tank's a little dirty because I did some cleaning in there prior to taking the video, so he's a little upset, which is why my finger's bleeding now. Well, since we're on the subject of tank sizes, the reason being for that is because these fish can actually get anywhere from 12 to 15 inches, depending on the strain. Bobby being a Magma, he's 9 inches right now. So right now he's temporarily in a 55 gallon. Once the catfish are out of his home, he'll go back into the 75 gallon. Mainly because he's the only fish that I keep in that tank. Now, as you can see in the video, I'm feeding him. Usually they have ferocious appetites, but he's on video and he knows it. So he's not even going to try to eat that. Actually, he waited until I was done videoing this. The second I hit the off button and pulled the camera away, of course, then he started eating. So yeah, fun fact about how these fish can actually be. They know. Now, here's one that I actually had to look up because I couldn't believe it. And that's tank mates. This is debatable for me. I really believe that they are a fish that prefer solitude. When Bobby was younger, I had him in a tank. Obviously, he was only like 3 inches, but he was in a tank with cichlids, other cichlids. And once he got bigger and the attitude came out, we had to pull him out and put him in his own tank. So I guess this is debatable for me. I guess it all depends on the mannerism of the fish. So I actually did look this one up. So let's just get started here. And before I start, please, for the love of God, whatever, if you do this, make sure you put them in a tank bigger than 125, because some of these fish that you can put them in get huge. I know, I have some. So yeah, I guess it falls along the lines of if you have a large enough aquarium. Couple 100-gallon, okay, fine. But anyways, let's get to it. So number one is Oscars. Okay, I guess I could see that. 2, plecos. Yes, he's been with plecos before and never bothered him. 3, bikers or bashars. 4, obviously, big cichlids. So I don't even know why that one's in there. Oscars fall in that category. Now the one I really don't agree with is silver arowana. And I will get to that in a little bit. But just keep in mind that silver arowanas can tend to be shiny and reflective. And flowerhorns love to attack shiny, reflective things. So just bear that in mind before putting a flowerhorn in with a silver arowana. And then the other one was bristlenose. And obviously the plecos are going to be okay. Just please, please, please be mindful of what aquarium you put these fish in with. And don't come to me going, man, you said I could put it in there with my arowana and he killed it, or whatever. Just be mindful. Also, check the mannerism of the flowerhorn. Females typically can get away with that. Males, not so much. Alright, let's talk about their diet a little bit, because that's kind of important. Anyways, when they're babies, I usually feed anywhere from pellets to freeze-dried krill to kind of build their size up and their color. As you can see clearly in the video, Bobby didn't really care for the freeze-dried krill because he's bigger than they are, and I don't know, they might not be filling to him anymore. But a few things you can feed him: mysis, I hope I'm saying that right, and bloodworms. But all of these will help with their color, but the krill will help them most. I usually feed Bobby now, because of his size, jumbo Hikari carny sticks, or Hikari jumbo carny sticks, or yeah. But anyways, He loves it. He goes crazy. If I would have tossed those in the tank, he would have quit pouting and gone after him. When you're putting these guys through competition, keep in mind they are a strong fish, so they do need to eat quite a bit. They're not your average fish that you can feed once a day or whatever. These guys need to eat a couple times a day. Again, do your research. Don't rely on Google for everything. Google will tell you they need to be fed 3 times a day. I don't put Bobby through any competition, so he gets fed twice a day. And don't mind my vape smoke there. Sorry. So always do your research because you want to have something that's high in protein. Hikari makes great foods. Extreme makes really good food. He loves Extreme. I just haven't gotten any of the jumbo pellets in a while, and I found he didn't really care for the jumbo pellets, which is why I put him on the Hikari carny sticks. But as always, for whatever purpose you're getting the fish for, if you're just going to keep him at home or if you're going to put him in competitions, always do your research. And actually, there's a lot of people that do flowerhorn competitions that will give you great ideas on food and feeding habits. So there's another thing for you to check into too. Don't rely on Google for everything. Just saying. This is easily my favorite part just because of the pure interaction I get with the fish is the training part. Now the reason for training, their cokes will grow to a certain size, but you can train them to get larger if you're going to put them in competitions or if you just want to see how big you can get it. So there's a few ways you can go about doing this. Obviously their diet, proper food, as well as sunlight, believe it or not. I know I said the evil word sunlight. The fish keeper's arch enemy. Notice I did not say direct sunlight. Bobby doesn't get direct sunlight. It's indirect, and it's usually only 5 to 6 hours a day, as long as it's not cloudy or raining or anything like that. I do get a little bit of algae, but it's easily maintainable. The other technique you can do is mirror train them. Do it for about 15 hours a day. And what I mean by that is by literally putting a mirror in the tank and let them go to town on it. This also reverts back to the thing I just spoke about in tank mates, which is why I don't believe you should put them in a tank with any reflective fish, because bad things can happen. But again, always be mindful of your fish's mannerism. You will know whether or not that fish can be around another one or not. Always use your best judgment on that one. Another technique, and this one is absolutely my favorite, is you have to play with the fish. Now, I don't mean sticking your hand in there and petting him, although Bobby does let me do that until he's done and then he bites me. You can play with them easily through the day. These fish love interaction. They love it. You've probably seen on our live streams when I had Bobby behind us, and he would just be twirling around and going to town. They love interaction. They love being the center of attention. They are just like a little puppy on Christmas morning. So that, hands down, is my favorite part. Plus, it gives them some exercise, So, but that one is easily, by far, my favorite thing about these fish. I love how interactive they are with you. They love you sometimes, unless you stick your hand in there. You should see me clean the tank. Bobby will do nothing but attack the python. It's great. And then he bites me again. But that is hands down one of my favorite things about this particular fish. Okay. Well, now it's time for my own thoughts on the fish. This fish isn't for everyone. A lot of people think they're ugly or they're too aggressive, and everybody's entitled to their own opinions on that. I just don't have to like them. That's okay. A lot of people don't care for keeping hybrids. I get that too. And, you know, I see the points on both sides of that. But at this point, they've been around since the 1990s, early 90s, like 93, somewhere like that. So maybe it's time we stop calling them a hybrid fish. Maybe it's time we get them a scientific name. Officially. I don't know. I could be wrong. It may already have an official one, but I haven't been able to find one. You know, these fish aren't exactly a flash in the pan. Maybe that was a bad example. Fly-by-night fish. Yeah, there we go. They're not a fly-by-night fish. They've been around for a very long time, and they're perfectly capable of procreating. I don't know what they look like out in the wild, though. That I would imagine that would be pretty interesting. I would like to see some pictures or video of that. But just, I don't know, maybe instead of just writing them off as a fish that nobody wants because it has a huge head and it's ugly, they give him a try. I challenge any of you to go get one as a baby. They are no bigger than your thumb. And see if that little guy doesn't grow on you. Because Bobby has become a part of our life around this house, and I really don't know what I'd do without him. He's become a huge staple here. And he even turned Lady Metalhead a fan of these guys. She's really picky on her fish. She thought he was ugly as a baby, and then she got to play with him. And she got to have fun with him and enjoy him. And now she loves him just as much as I do. Well, I love him more, but, you know, he knows it's Daddy. Well, now it's that time again. As with every video, there must be an ending. I hope you guys really enjoyed the first ever creature feature from Metalhead's Aquatic Mayhem. I enjoyed doing it. This was kind of fun for me. That way I don't have to be on camera. That was awesome. But you guys know what to do. Drop a like and leave a comment down below. Don't forget that subscribe button if you want to see more videos and catch up on all the mayhem. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I love all you guys, and stay metal.